Hello everyone, I'm David Farzam. Welcome to New Cancer Mentality. New Cancer Mentality is a place where innovative researchers, thinkers, and cancer patients can come and share their stories with others. Today we're really fortunate to have Anna Warner with us. Anna was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, a rare form, a few years back, and it really took a toll on her because she's a professional singer, and at the time the doctors didn't believe that she'd ever be able to sing again. Fortunately for all of us, she was able to beat the odds, and one of the things that really helped her out throughout the process was her passion for lipstick. She recently wrote the book, My Lipstick Journey Through Cancer, a journey of faith and finding the right shade, to tell others about her journey. So thanks again for being with us today, Anna.
Sure.
So when you were originally diagnosed with cancer, what were the original symptoms you went through, and could you give me a little bit of background about about how your life was before your diagnosis?
Sure. Everything was going as normal. In addition to what you spoke about beforehand, also do work in theater and radio locally. So I'm a singer, as well as I worked in the pharmaceutical industry in various capacities. And basically for about 6 months I had a sore throat every night, and I was hoarse some of the time, and then also in the different events I was asked to sing, I couldn't reach some of the notes that I was typically able to reach. So about 6 months into it, I was massaging my neck, and I found a lump down at the base of my neck by my clavicle, and so I scheduled an appointment the following week, and that's how it all started.
Wow. And then what ran through your head when your doctor said cancer? Did you think, I want to fight this now, or were you thinking, oh no, everything's going wrong? What went through your head?
The very first thing that went through my head was, he's wrong. And then I thought, well, if he's right, then I'm going to fight it and take one day at a time and figure out. I was going to do my own research and see what the prognosis was for whatever type of cancer. But I took one day at a time.
And how long after being diagnosed did you begin treatment, and what did your treatment consist of? Was it chemotherapy, surgery, radiation therapy? Did you use any specific types of treatment that were new at the time? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I was diagnosed about a week after that initial exam, and then 2 weeks after that I was in surgery. Thyroid cancer, the most common form of thyroid cancer is papillary thyroid carcinoma, which is what they said I had initially, so it had a great prognosis. And typically what happens is you go in, you find a surgeon, the surgeon takes out your thyroid, and then you drink a drink called iodine 131, and it's a radiation drink. And it's gone after that. Mine was a little bit different in that it had spread and it just kept coming back. But generally speaking, most of the ENTs or ear, nose, and throat physicians it's just a common procedure that they just take out the thyroid and then you do the 131 radiation. So within a month I was in a surgical suite getting my thyroid taken out.
And how did you find the oncologist who performed the procedure on you? Did you get referred to him by a friend, or how did you find him or her?
Well, my goal was to get the cancer out, and since I knew it was a regular procedure, I just went to my insurance website and started looking up ENT surgeons who could perform the surgery. And I started with the letter A, and I landed on a surgeon with the last name of A, and I just went with it. No referrals, no questions, just I asked him how often did he do the procedure and what his success rate was, and I scheduled it right there. I didn't even go anywhere else. Probably not the brightest thing, but I just wanted the cancer out.
And was the cost of treatment ever an issue for you? Is the cost of treatment now still an issue for you?
Back then, I had great insurance through the company I was working for, but since then they had a mass layoff, and my cancer was more complicated, so it's actually an issue more now, where I have to budget when my next PET scan and ultrasound take place, and they're still being aggressive with my treatment simply because of the complications that I had. And so every 3 to 6 months, I've already postponed the first one by 2 months, and so my checkup. So it is kind of an issue now.
And throughout the process, who was your strongest support system? Who did you look towards to help you throughout the tough times when you were depressed? And when did you feel the most, when did you feel the worst throughout? Was it at the beginning when you were originally diagnosed?
Sure. In the beginning, I actually wasn't down because I knew the prognosis for thyroid cancer was great. It's got a 98% cure rate, and especially papillary thyroid carcinoma. But throughout the process, it got tougher and tougher because after my very first surgery, the surgeon came in afterwards, and his first two sentences were, "Your thyroid cancer is more complicated than I've ever seen. It has spread all over your neck, and your prognosis is bad." And then he said, during the surgery, he cut my right recurrent laryngeal nerve, paralyzing my right vocal cord permanently, and that I would never sing again. So it was a couple of hard hits right off the bat, but again, my thought process was, it doesn't matter, I'm alive right now, and I'm just going to keep fighting until the fat lady sings, so to speak. But I completely lost my left vocal cord because of the trauma of the surgery, also paralyzed. So for the first 5 months post-surgery, I had bilateral vocal cord paralysis and couldn't speak or anything else, and breathing was difficult. So I started kind of grieving. Really, I was also nervous about how much longer I had to live, and they were nervous that the cancer had already spread to my lungs. So that was tough. And as the journey progressed, my voice did come back, but then the cancer came back along with it. So the following year, again, the same risks happened. And then I was singing again, but then my cancer came back a third time, completely surrounding my left laryngeal nerve and then my trachea. So I think the worst that I felt was when it came back the third time, because the risks were really great that I would lose all of this and take out my voice box and everything. And then you know, through my church, through my friends, and even my physicians, who just really couldn't believe that it just kept going on and on and on, and still can't. And just I received a lot of encouragement and support from my family. I mean, obviously, but I had a huge community of supporters, and some of them were even just through Facebook and email, and it's been quite the road.
And were you ever able to speak to other thyroid cancer patients throughout the process? People who shared similar circumstances you did, who could give you advice on how to deal with the tough times?
Sure. I was actually a friend of a friend was a thyroid cancer survivor, and she runs the local thyroid cancer support group. But she had a couple of women in her group that also had really difficult cases. So she hooked me up with them via email, and we just continued. I asked questions. So, you know, obviously I think a support group is necessary of some sort. And just to hear that there are more complicated thyroid cancers out there was reassuring, simply because when I first got thyroid cancer, everyone would say, "Oh, that's the easy cancer. That's a good one to get." And for me, I was like, "Oh, is there a good cancer? I didn't know that. That's great."
Definitely. And how important do you find prevention being on cancer, in the sense that before you were diagnosed, did you live a pretty healthy lifestyle?
Prior to cancer, first of all, I don't have any family history on either side of cancer, so that wasn't even kind of in my thought process. But prior to that, I was very healthy. I ate well, exercised all the time, was training for a half marathon, just doing crazy stuff, and also even buying organic, cleaning stuff for my house and eating organic fruits and vegetables. So in terms of prevention, I felt like I was doing everything right, but still this kind of happened. So I think Genetics, yes, they do play a part. I never smoked, and just drinking on occasion. Nothing in it. So I think generally speaking, in terms of prevention, if you live healthy, eat right, exercise, I think that's a positive. But sometimes it's just genetic factors, and sometimes it's just dumb luck that you get cancer, and that's it.
So on a brighter note, you are now able to sing again, and thank God. And could you give me some background on what you've been doing lately? Have you sang at any events since your treatment?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my physicians still don't understand how my vocal cords are. They're only one is paralyzed, one is partially paralyzed from the external beam radiation that I went through. So it's kind of miraculous that I'm speaking the way I'm speaking, and yes, I'm able to sing again. So last week I actually sang at a concert at one of the local hospitals. They celebrated The Voice, and so I spoke, and I also sang there. I'm singing at the opening ceremony of our local Relay for Life, so that's exciting. And then I recently sang on one of our local television stations, so it's been exciting.
Great. And just on a final note, could you first off give some advice to other thyroid cancer patients and cancer patients in general? Just some advice to help them through the tough times and just experiences you had that you can share with them.
Sure. In terms of the thyroid cancer, there is a lady that runs a campaign called Check Your Neck. And I would not have found the cancer if I wasn't checking my neck consistently. So I guess for thyroid cancer, if you have a sore throat for an extended period of time, or if you feel funny, check your neck. You might find something. But in general, for all cancer patients, keep a positive attitude. You can always crawl under your covers and never come out, but attitude is 90% of the battle. And then keep your faith, reach out to others, because everybody wants to do something, they just don't know what. And then I guess don't give up on your passions. Yes, I'm passionate about singing, but I love music. And so I was looking for different avenues. I play the piano, took ballet lessons, just, keep your passions alive. And obviously I love lipstick, so I kept buying it.
And what are besides singing at the Relay for Life, and you've got your book out, which is already enough, but is there anything else you have planned in the future to help with the cancer cause, or just anything you have planned that's exciting for your own future?
Yeah, I'm trying to work a little bit with some of the local organizations, and Michigan, or Detroit area, I should say, has Gilda's Club, which is from Gilda Radner. It was just a club formed by them, and they do a lot of work in the Detroit area and nationally. So I'm doing a little bit of stuff with them, and then I'm trying to actually do stuff with the Check Your Neck campaign. So kind of working around those things.
Cool. So thanks again so much, Anna, for your time. I just can't thank you enough. And if there's anything we could do for you here at New Cancer Mentality in the future, don't hesitate to ask. We're definitely here for you. And thanks again so much for sharing your story. And we definitely want to keep in touch with you in the future. And I'm really excited about all the things you're doing. So thanks again. And once again, if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you so much.